Dorks. It is the Turtle Dork here with a new episode recap and review for Game of Thrones. This is episode 5. The name of it is
Ghost of Harrenhal.
Directed by
the guy from the last episode, whose name I couldn't pronounce, David Petrarca.
Anyway, I'm the Turtle Dork. This is the Disco Dork. Let's get into the review. So, just like how you said, we basically start off this scene with Renly's death. Start off this episode with Renly's death. So they're in his tent, and it's Renly, it's Brienne, and it is Catelyn, Lady Stark. And they're having a little bit of conversation about, I guess, strategy and, as far as Catelyn is saying like how her and his brother need to unite to join forces, and Ghost Baby comes in and basically wastes no time and stabs Renly in the back through the heart and kills him. A couple of the guards come in. They think that it's Brienne because she goes to tend to him. Yeah. They think it's Brienne. Brienne takes them out, and Lady Stark basically tells her, "Look, we need to flee because they're going to assume that you were the one that killed Renly," and she's distraught over this because of her devotion to Renly to protect him. But Catelyn is able to get to her, and they are able to get out of there. So, great scene to really just kind of open this episode. I didn't think it happened this early.
Yeah, I remember it happening early in the episode, like in the opening of it, especially with the way it ended last time. Because my recollection initially was that it happened in the same episode of the birth.
Oh, the birth.
Smoke Baby. But I remember it happening now. But it was a great opening. Then after that, we go to, is it when Marjorie is viewing the body?
Yeah, I wrote, they're viewing the body. We have Loras and Marjorie Tyrell with Lord Baelish. And the big takeaway I have from that moment is after Loras leaves, because of course he's pretty messed up about and pretty mad because now he wants revenge against Thanos.
Damn.
Thanos.
Oh, okay.
Thanos on the Avengers on the brain. Anyway. But the takeaway I have is the conversation that Marjorie and Baelish has, because Baelish asks Marjorie, he was like, "Do you want to be a queen?" And she looks at Renly and she says, "No, I want to be the queen."
Yeah.
And Baelish kind of alludes to the fact, well, we can try to make that happen. Talking about, and I think we do start to see that where they're going to bring Marjorie into King's Landing, and I think to try to marry Joffrey. And I know there is going to be something where there's going to be some stuff between Joffrey and Sansa, where he's like, "I'm done with Sansa. I want Marjorie." And
I don't remember that happening. Okay.
Well, because remember when Joffrey's death, spoiler alert, Joffrey's death, that had everything to do with the Tyrells. Because the Tyrells were in that whole thing. Yeah. But you could see in that moment that's what Baelish is plotting, and to try to get her in with the Lannisters to become queen. And then of course that's what we start to get that friction between Cersei and Marjorie later on in these episodes, later on in the seasons. Then we have Tyrion with Lancel, his cousin. To get some information about Cersei. So he finds out that Cersei's plot is with the wildfire, as far as with the battle that the battle at Blackwater that's going to happen at the end of this season, that she's going to end up using this wildfire.
When I see it during this rewatch, and my mind automatically initially goes to that later season opening when actually Marjorie is in King's Landing and she gets her.
That's right. The opening of season 6.
Yeah, man. Like, cause that's a lot of, and I forget. I mean, you forget how, like, when you see it for the first time, like how much of that shit is in there. I love the way Peter Dinklage sells that reaction, because when he opens it up, and his reaction for me as a viewer means a lot, because here's someone who's been in King's Landing for the longest time. He knows the ins and outs, knows the people, knows the goings on, but yet he was totally unaware that he was sitting on this amount of stuff, and the fact that it was being manufactured, produced at Cersei's order, right under his nose, and he didn't even know it. And so the fact that something of this magnitude can still happen under his nose and him not knowing about it, that says a lot, about the game and as Tyrion's place in it.
Exactly. And how dangerous it is to have that wildfire, because like you said, man, like that stuff can burn King's Landing to the ground.
Yeah.
Like that shit is like super flame, like super hot. It could burn damn near anything.
And that moment when Bronn is going over, like, all right, well, why it's not a good idea.
Yeah.
First of all, it's a great moment for that character, but it sells that Bronn is probably like one of the greatest sellswords ever, in that not only is he a great fighter, but he has a great rapport with Tyrion. Yeah. But also he's a thinker too. He's not just
a brute, like just muscle.
Yeah, just a muscle. And I like that the show goes to lengths to give him some depth. Yeah, when it comes time to kick ass or whatever, he can do that. But then, he has his moments of humor when he's saying like some really crass shit. Then he has his moments of like ingenuity when he's thinking ahead. Yeah. But also this thinking ahead also goes into the respect that he has for Tyrion. Because look, I want to get paid. Obviously, he wants to get paid, but at the same time, I want to keep this dude alive because he cares about him. And so I don't know, like that. Bronn is he's in a series full of great characters. Bronn is like one of my favorites. He's like one of the best.
Absolutely. Somebody that you thought could have been a throwaway character. Yeah. They really breathe a lot of life and depth and characterization they put into that character, which goes to show you how much we care about him with things that when he's put into certain situations in later seasons, you start to root for him and you want to see him succeed, even if you're kind of going against him. And that's the great thing about this show. Davos and Stannis. I keep calling Stanos. Davos. Dude, I don't know.
You want Thanos in this show so bad, don't you?
Can you imagine Thanos in Game of Thrones? Man. I know, right?
I'd pay to see that.
Half y'all motherfuckers gone. Davos and Stannis, the conversation they were having in the tent, and he was talking when they were talking about hard truths. To be loyal to somebody, but you still have to be able to have those hard truths. And they're talking about the whole getting ready for the battle at Blackwater when the Blackwater Bay is free to get the ships there. And then he tells him, Melisandre, she shouldn't be there at the battle. So he's able to convince Stannis of that. But then he orders. I'm
kind of pissed off because he's trying to tell Stannis, like, yo, I just seen some crazy shit. You gotta let me tell you. And Stannis is like, I don't want to hear it.
Yeah.
Okay, I hear what you're saying, but I just see some crazy shit. I gotta tell you. Stannis is like, I don't want to hear it.
Cause he knows.
And do you think he does? Like the smoke baby shit?
Well,
because my whole point is like he finally says, all right, what's the truth? And he doesn't mention like the smoke baby. I'd have been like, yo, your girl just split her legs and a smoke monster just came out, and that's the thing that assassinated. Like he didn't say that.
I would think that Stannis knows who Melisandre is, and not necessarily what she's plotting, but what she's capable of.
I think he does, but I don't think. I think he's turning a blind eye to. I mean, he knows that she's doing some crazy shit. He's just like, I just don't want to know about it.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
But that don't stop Davos from telling him. Like, I was dude. If I see some shit like that, that's the first thing. When I see you on site, that's the first thing you're gonna hear out my mouth.
I know, right, dog. The smoke baby, man. The fucking smoke baby.
Yeah, like so. Regardless if you want to hear that or not, I'm telling you about the smoke baby I see come out her.
I know.
All right. Sorry.
It's all good. Theon, no respect. That's what I got next.
Oh yeah, my man. Like he's the Rodney Dangerfield of.
Oh man. So he's got one ship, the Sea Bitch. He's got one ship, and his crew don't respect him. His first mate kind of respects him a little bit, but he lets him know. He's like, look, you got to prove yourself to these people. Yeah. So they're basically about to go out to pillage, these villages because he's trying to prove this to his father to show that he is worthy of being part of the Iron Islands. Yeah. But I just thought that scene, man, it like you say, when they piled on the Theon, they piled that shit on heavy and thick. Man.
And it's funny because like if you like watching this particular scene initially, you start to feel good for Theon. He's okay, he's finally getting a win. Somebody who is showing him some type of respect. Someone who, who inspires seemingly a good idea to Theon, right? So if you've never seen this show before and you're watching this episode, you're thinking, oh man, you start to feel good about this moment. But for me, and I don't even know what happened specifically, but I know for a fact that everything else that comes for Theon from here on out is bad. So like but the way the show plays this moment is like, oh shit, I got a good idea. Like they frame him like all nice. He got the light in the back, like a halo effect, and he's like, oh shit. He gives the dude the smile, like, did we just come up with a fucking badass idea? I think we did. And I'm like, oh shit. But then I remember, but he has nothing but bad luck from here on out. So this shit's going south. Yeah, so I was like, damn, he can't get a win.
Nah, he can't. He can't. So like we said before, man, I'm hoping this upcoming 8th season, he has that moment.
I think redemption. He will. I think he will.
And he should. He's been through. Damn, man, that dude's been through a lot. Arya and Tywin. Oh, you were talking about this scene while we were watching it. They're having a little small council meeting, and Tywin's like just laying the hammer down to his own family. Oh, like, he's like, yo, you can go ahead and leave. You lucky you're a Lannister, because if not, I'd have your head. Yeah. So he pulls Arya aside and asks her where she's from. And she tries to say that she's from Maidenpoor, someplace. And he calls her out on it, and he knows that she's from the north, but he doesn't tell her that she's from Winterfell. She's able to tell her another place in the north. And he asks her, what do they say about Robb Stark in the north? And, they say these things like, he rides in on a dire wolf, and, they call him, I forget what he said, she says that they call him, but really just speaking highly of her brother.
Yeah. They call him the wolf.
Yeah, they call him the wolf, and he rides in on a dire wolf. Yeah, that's right, you call him the wolf. But that moment, and the way, like you said, the way they frame it and the way they shoot those extreme close-ups on Tywin and then on Arya, when he asked her, he was like, do you believe it? And she's like, no, because he's like, anyone can be killed. And how the camera just kind of lingers on her face. And I just think that just Macy Williams in that moment, just as a performance, was just absolutely magnificent. And like you were saying, it did kind of make Tywin flinch a little bit.
It kind of, that motherfucker was shook.
Yeah.
To the point where he was like, go get the water. I thought he was talking about getting some water. You're supposed to be getting some water. Where's my water at? Go get the water.
Yeah.
If you could, that scene plays out so well and to such great dramatic effect because of the long take, the long close up with no cutaways, and it does it for both Arya and Tywin. And when it cuts to Tywin, you can see him visibly shaken by the implications of just that idea of what she's saying. Yeah, he has no reason to think that she's gonna do something to him, or she's gonna. I don't even think he doesn't even know who she is truly. He doesn't know her true identity.
Yeah, because you see early in that scene, Tywin actually has respect for Robb Stark, because he even says it. He was like, Robb Stark has a mind for war. He has an army. His men respect him. So when he hears Arya say this, like, this is basically what she is saying is representative of how the people of the North respond and respect Robb.
And his whole point for even asking that was to show the people at the table to prove what he's saying, because he was telling them like, yo, he's got their respect. Yeah. Watch, let me show you, little girl. Yeah. Tell him. And so that's basically what that's just up.
Yeah. But also like the subtext under that though for Arya's character, when she says anyone can be killed, and the way it lingers on her face, there's a lot of subtext going into that, especially like knowing where her character is at this moment in the story, and also,
but also what ultimately ends up happening to Tywin.
Yeah.
Friggin'
well, Tyrion.
Yeah, but Tywin is thinking like I'm this untouchable dude, like I'm just the best. Or whatever.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
But
I see what you're saying. Okay,
you can't. But basically, that long stare to him was. I don't even think it was specifically I'm going to kill you, but it was you can be killed.
Exactly. And exactly. That's my point.
He felt that shit. He felt that shit in his soul.
Yeah, that's my point. And I think that's the subtext of what Arya was saying when she said that line. She was like, because he asked her, and the way he took it was like, oh, no, I don't believe that because anyone can be killed. Robb Stark can be killed. He's not this, majestic, untouchable man. But the subtext of when she says that is like, yeah, anyone can be killed, including you. Mm-hmm. So I thought that was just amazing. I thought that was a great, great scene. But then we go, when she goes get to fetch the water, she runs into Jaqen.
Oh, yeah.
And he talks to her about the Red God and the fact of, her saving him and those other two people. You saved 3 lives, but the Red God is requesting 3 lives for you saving us. And I think we start to see that connection and that relationship that's starting to build for who Arya is going to ultimately become, having that interaction with the Man of Many Faces. Yeah. So I thought that was a pretty good moment, a pretty good scene. So she gives him a name because that plays into the last scene. She's like, give me a name of somebody that you want to take out. And or give me 3 names, or you can give me 3 names, but I think she just gives him one name, the trickster or something like that, the guy that was doing the interrogation in the last episode. But then let's see, Dany in the Karth market around all those, all those weird people, man. That was an interesting scene, just to kind of, I guess, maybe to establish more so who these people are. That weird bald dude with the blue lips. Yeah, well, I can't remember what you were saying. Something about that plays in later with something.
So she's gonna go to their house. She's gonna go to where they're.
Oh yeah, something of the Undying house of the Undying.
Yeah, so she's gonna go. Dany's gonna go there. That's where they're gonna because in this particular scene. He has this gem that he has her look at or look through or whatever. Yeah. And you see like he's able to project multiple versions of himself or whatever. Yeah. So like these tricks or whatever. But that's gonna play, him doing that, the multiple versions, that's gonna play into an episode later on when she goes to the House of the Undying. Like they're gonna be fucking with her mind, or they're gonna be fucking with her at some point, and
something's gonna happen with the dragon. I remember with the dragons.
There's gonna be some fire in there. I just remember it's gonna be something catching on fire. Either someone or something is catching on fire. But anyway, in this particular scene, you have the introduction of that character, but you also have some expositional stuff to flesh out the Dothraki when Daenerys has to go over and defuse a situation where she got 2 of her guys who want to basically pillage, like steal some gold and some jewelry from the people of Karth. Yeah. So there's that, but really that whole thing with the weird dude with the magical gem was to have Homeboy come in.
Oh yeah, Zorro.
Zorro come in, swoop in, and basically get his storyline going with Daenerys. Yeah,
tell a little bit about his backstory, because that's going to play into something else with Zorro and Dany. We'll get to. The next scene I want to talk about was Brienne and Lady Stark in the woods.
Oh, man.
So this is when she pledges her oath to Lady Stark, and Lady Stark also pledges her oath to Brienne. And this is the beginning of basically where we see Brienne now, with that oath that she vows to protect Sansa and Arya, because those were Caitlyn's wishes. Even after her death, she still vows to protect them. And this is where that begins. And I thought that was just an incredible scene. Again, Brienne is one of my favorite characters, man, and it's because of scenes like this. Like you say, we talk about her devotion to Renly, and she sees how she sees the type of person Lady Stark is, and she vows that, you know, she wants to devote herself to her.
Yeah.
And I thought that was a really, really good scene. And the fact that that's reciprocated from Caitlyn as well, that you'll always have a place in Winterfell, I thought was really, really cool.
That was a powerful scene. I don't remember. I mean, I'm pretty sure when I saw it the first time, I was like, "That's a great scene," but I don't remember it hitting me.
Yeah.
In the way that it did, like during this rewatch, like that shit brought tears to my eyes.
Yeah,
like, just the act of those, you know, two women respecting each other, uplifting each other, and being, you know, offering themselves, their selfless, selfless service to one another. I just the image of that, the iconography of that. I don't know. I just found it profound.
It really was. It really was. Talk a little bit about Bran, man. I want to talk about Bran when he talks about the dream that he had.
Oh, he's talking about the Osha.
Yeah, with the three-eyed raven, because it's interesting. This is in season 2, and I wonder if, because we haven't seen anything, the implications of that in Winterfell, when he talks about how Winterfell got flooded from the because Osha says, you know, the rivers or the oceans are like hundreds of miles away from here. Like that would never happen. So I'm thinking, because of what we know of Bran when he actually becomes the three-eyed raven, and him being able to warg and connect like with the Night King in some aspects later in these seasons, if that's some foreshadowing that we're possibly going to see.
That's when I heard it this time. Yeah. That's the first thing my mind. I was like, oh shit, because that's apocalyptic. Like, you know, to have and he says his vision. He describes it as Winterfell, you know, water coming over the walls, Winterfell being flooded, and with bodies. Like, so I'm thinking like he's seeing so far in the future that it's stuff that we haven't even seen on the show yet. Yeah. Like, so during that, so as we know now, the wall has been breached, and you got the Night King and his army coming over that wall. But what else comes with that? What else is the Night King going to do in his attempt to take over everything or devour everything or turn everything south of the wall? Does that include, you know, does the wall melt? Is the dragon melt the wall, and then the wall floods because it's ice, and if all that ice melts, it's going to be water. So does the wall get melted somehow or something like that?
And the first place that they're going to pass is Winterfell.
So maybe.
That's interesting, man.
I don't know.
Yeah, because I completely forgot about that. And especially now, knowing where we are in the show and hearing this all the way back in season 2. Yeah. And I'm like, wait a minute. Like, and you know, they're not going to leave no stone unturned. So that's got to come back in some way. Yeah. So I thought that was really, really interesting. This is a little bit of a comedic moment, kind of, sort of, but because we were laughing about it. Jon Snow, when the guy said he could see something down, because I guess they're trying to raid Mance Raider. Yeah. And you mentioned, like, you was like, man, I can't see shit. And then they kept cutting to Jon Snow making their face. And I was like, that's pretty much the face that Jon Snow was making. Yeah. Like, dude, what the fuck do you see? Because I don't see it.
Jon Snow was like, dude, you really trying to impress Mormont here, saying you see some shit. I know goddamn well you don't see. I don't know if maybe it's the resolution of the Blu-ray, but I got the big TV, and I'm thinking like, all right, maybe I should be able to see it because I'm thinking. I asked you, what are they looking at? Because I'm thinking maybe I'm looking at in the wrong part of the frame.
I don't know.
But I scanned the whole thing. I didn't see any fire.
Because they have that behind the over the shoulder shot.
Yeah.
And you're looking out at the landscape, so you're looking right where they're looking at. He said he sees fire. I didn't see that.
He sees fire. He's getting snow blindness. I don't know.
Jon Snow's face, man.
He had a side eye.
Oh man. Zorro's proposal to Dany.
Yeah, no finesse. No finesse.
Well, he said he married for love once before.
I get it, but still, you gotta finesse that shit, man. If you wanted to say yes, regardless of why you're doing it, anyway.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, well, from what I can remember, and all these characters always have some either ulterior motives for what they want to do. But he promised her an army and all these other things. And it's interesting the conversation that she ends up having with Jorah after that, and telling her, like, look, this could be a good idea, because look, if I'm going to take over the Iron Throne, in order to overthrow that, I need to have an army. I need to have all these different resources. But Jorah is trying to tell her, like, look, there are other ways to do that. You don't need the people of Karth. You need the people of Westeros. Karth has nothing to do with this.
Yeah. So
I don't know. It just feels like they're kind of like at that turning point, or at a crossroads, where Dany has to make a critical decision as far as what she wants to do, as far as like being able to attain certain resources to be able to overthrow the people of King's Landing, so that she could take the throne back. But as her Jorah, as her advisor, is trying to advise her otherwise, and I think he was able to get that across to her.
Yeah, because she ultimately said, "All right, go bring me back a ship." Because he said, "Look, you don't need to go through this guy to do it. I can go get you a boat. All you need is one boat." So she said, "All right, go get the boat."
Yeah. And then the final scene, where we finally see, I guess, Arya sees one of her 3 wishes comes true, and then we see the Man of Many Faces sitting up there, and he just kind of points at his eye, and I think that lets Arya know, like, oh shit, like there's something more to this. And I think we're going to start to see her kind of dig a little bit deeper into what Jaqen is all about, and what he knows, what he's capable of, and him trying to recruit her to be. Because
how it's going to end is she's going to give him another name.
Okay.
It's going to be one of the guards at the front, because they're going to end up. They're going to just walk out. But then, like, when they part ways, he's going to give her a coin and say,
"Well, that's right.
And whatever. If you're ever and such and such, come see me or whatever." But then they're going to leave.
Yeah. So not necessarily. Not necessarily recruit her, but yeah, she's going to have that coin to be able to get into that city or wherever he is. Yeah. Because that's I think like season 4 or 5 where she goes to meet him, and then she starts her training as one many faces, whatever they call them.
The many face god.
Many face gods. There you go. The red god. Whatever. I don't know. You guys let me know. Don't destroy me. I'm sorry.
Jesus.
It's you too, man. You don't know.
Destroy you.
I know. I know. It's a little too extreme. Anyway, but that is episode 5. It is called The Ghost of Harrenhal. So yeah, go ahead, comment freely below. Let us know what you think. Let's start the conversation, the discussion. Remember to rate, like, subscribe, and share. Go ahead and check out the podcast at ItModcast. Check out this guy right here at TheDiscoDork. Check out our other dorks at MouthDork, at WB Dash, at Sidewalk Siren. And as for me, I am the Turtle Dork, and with that, we are out.